I sympathize with the fact that young children should not be on social media. How to achieve that is up for debate. Australia has been very courageous. I think we need to learn from whatever mistakes, or learn from the positive experience if it is positive. Um, we are taking steps, as you know, in Gibraltar to ensure that mobile phones are not used during school hours by introducing the pouches. Also bearing in mind that the older students, and we have Jesse here, we've had a very useful discussion with them, do learn in different ways to older generations, and do use access to the internet, but not through the phone. But on the social media ban, I think we need to wait and see. I think there's a lot of merit, provided we don't end up criminalizing a 15-year-old. I think the onus should be on the providers to make sure that they're not accessible. We don't want to criminalize children. So, I mean, that's my general view, but I think it's probably coming sooner or later.
On the social media part, I think that social media can have positives and negatives. Sometimes we just see it as negative, and although it is very negative, there are also positives, and it's dependent on the person as well and their self-control and their ability to find positives within it and use it for the correct reasons. On the matter of the phone, I think it's also important for people to note that we are advancing and that we are becoming more technology-based. I mean, we were discussing before, AQA is rolling out fully technology-based exams where we do it on laptops and all of that for certain languages, and that's happening within like the next 2 years. It is important to understand that we have shifted to a more technological learning, and we can't just say, oh, pero en mi día we used to do it with books. Yeah, okay, but that's not the case anymore. We are moving on. Exam boards are moving on. Teaching styles are moving on, and we have to adapt to that as well. And I know that phones don't have to do with that, but they do in a sense that it is technology. And thank you to Minister Cortés, who said that he's going to get us internet access so that we can continue to adapt with the change that is occurring.
Different age groups are experiencing different health challenges. With our, very small babies and children under 2s, we're seeing quite significant developmental delays. Children, that hand-eye coordination, the pincer movement of being able to, that fine pincer control. There are concerns around children not achieving their developmental milestones as a result of excessive screen time. So we're not saying, screens are demonizing them, they're all bad. What we're saying is try no screen time under 2s, which aligns with the World Health Organization guidance. If you're using screen times, do it supervised. Use it as an educational tool. But in our primary school children, we're seeing concerns around school readiness. And I've been working with the head teachers of the lower primary schools in terms of what we can do this year to help raise parental awareness and expectations around what we would expect children to be able to do to reach their potential. We're not saying every child is going to reach necessarily these milestones. And then absolutely in the older children and in sort of Bayside, West Side, we're concerned around the cyberbullying, the mental health aspects that excessive screen time can have.
We have to continue to have, frank and direct discussions with Minister Cortés and the Department of Education, as we usually do on a range of issues. There will be teething problems, one can imagine, because it's a major change. And we have to protect also our colleagues and teachers from, increasing workloads or even the increase in behavioral issues in the transition phase, where kids who are quite used to having their phones on them might resist the change initially. So obviously, we have to have clear communication with those entities to ensure that we mitigate any problems and we protect our colleagues and we protect the student body at large.
The more parents who do keep the smartphone from their child until an older age, the more we delay social media, the less exposure they have to this at a younger age. And it's like we spoke about screens. So there's a very big difference between watching a film and a small device that has that feedback response, that overstimulating response. It does something very different to your brain. So when you talk about screens, we're not anti-screens, it's particularly what the social media is doing to people's brains. The more of us that do that, you have strength in numbers and it becomes normal. It's about creating a new normal, that it is not normal for a child to have a social media account until they are 15, and they are in a better position to be able to manage that, like we've been talking about.